Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this MacBook Air 13-inch model A1932 2019. This is a True Tone model. Okay, so first thing you want to do is remove all the screws from the outer edge. You'll need a Pentalobe 1.2 for this. So there's 4 up here, 4 down here, and then 2 on the sides. The 4 screws on the back, the 2 in the middle are different than the 2 on the outside, and then these 4, I believe, or 6 are all the same. Yeah, they all look the same. So, I mean, try not to mix them up. I try and put each screw back the same spot I took them out from. That's always a good practice, okay? Anyways, once you do that, you can get your fingernails underneath the cover like this, and then you can go around the side, and then you can pop this up. Same thing with the other side, alright? And it'll come out just like that. So on this model, I'm actually changing the display. The rest of the thing is okay. So anyways, what you want to do is there's the battery connector here. So let's see. Okay, so you got that. There's this adhesive strip that you need to lift up. Okay, so I haven't worked on one of these for a while, so let's see if I remember. Okay, so you got this little piece that you can pull. This is the battery connector. So I use my fingernail and then I kind of just go from side to side to kind of wiggle the connector out, and it'll pop out just like that. Once you do that, you can leave that there. There's this little button here. If you can see this golden thing right here, hopefully it's clear enough because I'm using a ultra wide view, so the camera is really close. But yeah, anyways, you have to press and hold that button to drain any power from the MacBook. Alright. I didn't mention earlier, this MacBook, it turns itself on when you open the screen, so you want to hold or make sure shut it down and then shut the screen before working on this, just to make sure it's completely off. And when you push this little button here, you can feel like it clicks. So yeah, just press it down and hold it. So this video is actually just going to be to show the screen replacement, because I don't want to rip out the other stuff. I'll explain some of the other things. So the speakers here, they connect with these types of connectors here. These kinds you get like close underneath, and then you can kind of pry them up. They're held in place with these stretch adhesives, so you peel this adhesive off and then you just pull it straight back perpendicular, and that will release the adhesive. So usually these, you end up getting them stuck on each other. So, but if you're very careful and you just pull it straight back, and then while you're holding it, grab the thing with your other finger, pull it, and then just keep doing that and make sure it doesn't touch each other, then you can actually reuse these adhesives. But it's kind of tricky to do, and usually you'll end up getting it stuck to each other. The batteries are glued in place just like all the other new models. It's kind of a pain. So if you're going to take it out, just know that you're going to have to peel off all the residue from here and before you stick a new one on. You got the trackpad. It's held in with these 8 screws. So I believe those are all T5s. Most of this laptop uses T5 screws. And then I believe there's a few T4. You got the wireless antennas under here. So, and then you got the USB-C charge ports here. So yeah, anyways, I am going to, I don't know if this, it looks like the trackpad cable goes underneath the logic board, but I'm not going to remove that, so I don't know. I don't remember if I did a video on this, but I replaced one of these for somebody. They spilled some liquid on it, and then their power button and everything stopped working, and luckily the cable and stuff for the Touch ID was okay, so I was able to replace that. But anyways, we're gonna go on and show how to remove the screen. The rest of it, yeah, usually if you're gonna be replacing like the whole board or something, it's probably gonna be better to replace your MacBook. It's gonna be very expensive, but if you want, it shouldn't be too difficult to figure it out. So if you needed to replace it, hopefully you can. Alright, So anyways, we are going to undo the screws for the antenna and then to pull this up. So there's the T5 screws on both these sides holding these metal plate thingies down. Those are the antennas, okay? So we'll remove those 4 screws. Alright. So now that we got those 4 screws out, let me see here. I think we didn't have to remove any other ones for the antennas. Yeah. So we got those antenna screws out. We will have to disconnect all these LCD connectors and stuff. I believe these are all T4. Actually, the T5 screwdriver fits in there. So I guess they're all T5. Okay. Well, anyways, let's see here. We got the replacement. Let's get the replacement screen. So usually it's a good idea when you work on these things to take the replacement part and then look at, you can see here how the components are built. So I'm going to peel this tape off just so you can see. If you're doing this, when you're peeling this kind of tape stuff off, you always want to hold the components down. Okay. They put a warranty sticker under here that this tape is on. What a stupid design. They're going to say the warranty's void. Well, anyways, so we'll peel this tape this way then. Okay. And hold this down. Yeah, that's dumb. They're probably going to say the warranty's void. Well, hopefully the screen works okay. If not, I got it on video. Alright, so take this stuff away. Alright, so you look at this, you see there's these little cables connected down that are here. So this is part of this cable. So technically these plates can stay on. But I will transfer them over. I think sometimes you'll get a screen and it'll come with those metal plates. So we will remove those metal plates and transfer them over to this screen. Okay, so take out these 2 screws. Looks like they're all T5s. Usually they'll use like T4 screws for these tiny ones. Or maybe my screwdriver is just not a completely T5. Alright, well, unless they changed it for this air. Alright, so we'll get these screws and put them back up there. Grab that. Line it up. Alright, usually you just need to make sure one hole's lined up first, and then you can slide the other one over after, just like that. Hopefully you can see everything I'm doing clearly. Alright. If people start complaining that the videos are no longer clear enough, I'll have to switch it to the regular camera, because right now I'm using ultra wide view, so that way I can see my camera. It's actually lets me put the camera low enough. Why is this screw not going back in? Oh, somebody just messaged me and now it's gonna keep beeping. That's weird. This screw, why is the screw not going back in? Something is really weird here. Is it going in now? Okay. They made it like so precise that just slightly off was screwing it up. Interesting, my phone's not beeping. It must have been just a regular notification. Okay, so we got this one. I'm gonna leave that fart noise in. That's my notification for my phone. Alright, so we got this. We'll move this metal plate over as well. Usually I mute my notifications, but I forget sometimes. Okay. Alright, so make sure, line up these screws properly and then just tighten them back down. These will hold these LCD cable connectors in place. This is probably a very boring video for some of you guys because I'm going so slow. Alright, so we transferred that. Then you got the connector for the LCD, so you need to remove that as well. There's 2 more screws up here. Alright, remove those. It really might be T4 because it's, yeah, because it's kind of a pain to do the T5. So remove that, set that metal plate aside. Okay, then you pop up the LCD connector. Make sure you disconnected the battery and drained the battery before you, or held that power button or this little button down before you remove this, or you can damage the backlight circuitry. Okay, so we got all of those out. Now we need to take these 2 screws out. These 2, the black raised screws that holds this circuit board in place for the screen. All right. So a lot of people ask me like questions, how do I do this? Where is this? I mean, I don't own these computers, so I won't have them later. So the trick is you find the parts online, and then you kind of see, like, you can see where the holes are, so you know, and you know what the part looks like, and that's how you will figure out, like, okay, there's screws there, and you need to remove these. So here you see the hinges. There's just those 6 screws holding the hinge, and then there's also this metal bar going across the top. So actually the whole screen replacement, let me see if did the wireless antennas need to be removed on this? Maybe not actually. Okay, so the MacBook Air, I don't think you have to remove the wireless antennas, so I'm gonna just go and try and remove the screen. Okay, so once you undo all those screws for the back plate, open up the screen, lay the screen off the edge of the desk. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can zoom out some. So I lay the screen off the edge of the desk like this, and then you'll switch to a T8 screwdriver and just undo these screws. Usually for these the hinge screws, I will apply some thread locker, the red thread locker. It holds the screws a lot better. A lot of times on laptops, the screws for the hinges come loose over time because of the constant opening and closing, and it slowly pulls the screws out, and when they become too loose, then you can actually damage the computer. Okay, so this screw is somewhat underneath the wireless antenna, so you might need to kind of maneuver that around. Okay, so you do actually have to remove the screw for the antenna here, because this screw is underneath and it lifts it up, so just know that. Okay, it might be easier if I fully take out the antenna, so maybe I'll just do that just to be safe so that you guys can follow along. So this hinge, since I already took it out, I'm gonna hold it down so I can close the screen. Okay, let's just remove the antenna, so if anyone was curious how to do it, even if I can do it without doing it, it'll help somebody. Okay, so we'll remove the 2 screws here for the wireless antennas. Yeah, if you can't do it with the T5, probably use the T4. So we'll set aside this metal bracket. The antennas, you just pull at the tails just like this. Alright, just pull it straight up. I just pull them up like that. And then this antenna, usually I don't like to remove them because it has like a strong like clasp kind of thing that grips onto the center. So when you pull this thing up, let's see if I can. Okay, let's see. Maybe I don't need to completely take it out, but when you pull it up, it like grips on there. So it makes it, that's what actually holds it in place. So actually, see, I can remove the screws without it. You just gotta hold this metal piece up. So, I mean, that's how you would remove the antennas. You have to kind of pull this piece up. Maybe I'll show it anyways, since I already took it out. So you just pull this piece up, work your way towards the center, pulling it up, okay? And then you kind of have to keep wiggling it, maneuvering it. Was the antenna underneath? No, it's not. So I don't need to remove it, but yeah, I'll show it anyways. Okay, so you pull on this. As you can see, this metal bracket, it comes up just like this, and be careful with this wire, and then you can pull the whole antenna assembly. Oh wait, I do have to pull the assembly out. Okay, so the antenna actually has this frame here. So this is actually a stupid design. It's designed intentionally just to make it so it's more work to take out the screen. So technically there's nothing in this plastic, and if you wanted you can just destroy it, but yeah, the antennas, the wire runs here, and then this is the antenna where you see all this yellowy golden stuff. That's the actual antenna. So this is just plastic. I don't know if it protects this cable at all, but yeah. So if you are replacing the screen, you do have to remove that. Just know that. Or break that plastic, but that'll void warranties, so you probably don't want to do that. Anyways, back to opening the screen again. Alright, so open the screen all the way, hang it off the edge of the desk, pull these screws out. Yeah, this is probably like the second or third time I've done this model, so I didn't remember about the, like, if the antenna was absolutely necessary to remove. Okay, so you got those out. Once you do that, let the screen swing down slightly. The hinges will pop up, and then you can wiggle the hinges out, okay? Just like that. So that's how you remove the screen. Grab the replacement. The replacement will always have, or almost always have, the hinges already down. So to fix that, just take your T8 screwdriver, go as close to the hinge mechanism as possible, so this screw, and then you just pry it up, okay? Just like that. So same thing with the other side. Get your screwdriver, pry it up. Alright, and then we'll place this back in. Make sure that the cables are coming out so that they are on top of the board. Alright. And then same thing, kind of lift it or have it angled down slightly. Alright. You will have to wiggle it around to get it to go in. Here we go. Just like that. Make sure this cable, the LCD cable, is on top. Alright. Then have the screen up again. Usually when I do this, I will put the two screws closest to the hinge first. Alright. And then tighten those two down. Alright, I do that so that way I can close the screen. And once you close the screen, so I have to peel off, oops, I'm getting this out of camera, but peel off this protective layer on top. Wow, they used a strong adhesive on this. It's actually really difficult to peel this off. Okay, so peel that adhesive off. If you want, you can use it as like a work surface if you're worried about scratching the thing. Okay, so you can, once you get those screws out, I mean not the screws, the plastic adhesive, now you can actually get a good feel around the screen. So loosen the screws, and then to align the screen you just use your fingers like this, push on the corners, make sure that it's flat and it's yep, make sure that everything is aligned properly, and then after you do that you can tighten it back down. Alright, again I'm gonna add Loctite, but I put these 2 screws first just to make sure it doesn't move around. Then you'll grab this, or thread locker, sorry. Alright, so then you grab the screws, just put a tiny bit of this stuff on there, just like that. Alright, not much at all. Put the screw on, and this will prevent the screw from coming back out. Do the same with the other screws. Okay, just like that. Alright, grab another screw out. Once you do those 2 screws, make sure you remove the other screw that was already in there. Put the stuff on it. Tighten it up. Alright, same thing with the other side. Okay, tighten that up. Grab the other screw. Alright, tighten that up. Don't forget to remove the other screw again. Alright. Add the stuff to there. Alright, now you got all 6 of the hinge screws with the Loctite. Alright, flip the computer back over. We have to thread the antennas back through. Okay, so pull up this cable again, put the antennas through. Okay. Apple likes to make, oh, if you're wondering how it holds in place, as you can see these metal pieces that are kind of raised, there's little bumps on them, and the metal bar goes between these 2 and then this middle one, so it goes in, it sits in between, and that's what holds the thing in place. So we'll put the antenna or the wire back through just like this. Okay, make sure the LCD cable is out of the way. Pull this back down. Alright, sometimes getting this to clamp back on is a little tricky. Let's see here. Especially since you can't really see it with the wire in the way. But basically, you just have to line it up. I might have to do a soft camera because it's hard to see at this weird angle. Okay. Okay, I think it's actually in place now. Alright, so make sure that's pushed down. So once you have that in, you can test it by trying to lift this up, and if it holds itself in place, you know it's good. This one seems a little bit loose, so there we go. Okay, once you got that, put back all the screws. Get these T5 screws back for the antennas. Okay. And usually when I first put them in, I'll put them loosely. Just to make sure everything is lined up properly. Okay. Just like that. Sorry, I know my hand's in the way. Then tighten them up. Okay, just like that. Now the antennas are firmly in place. You'll want to bolt this this plate down. So grab these screws. Okay. I might have to change it to the other view, but I don't know. I need a way to see what I'm recording. Maybe I need like a TV here with that mirror cast or something that just shows what's on my phone screen. Maybe I'll do that in the future. I'll add a small screen here so I can see what I'm doing. That will actually help with my recordings. I can see exactly what you guys are seeing, and I can put my camera on full quality mode. Okay, then we will push back down the LCD connector, line it up, pop it in place, just like that. Alright, make sure it's down properly. Make sure to put back the antennas, line them up properly. It's a little tough to see here. Okay, line it up and then snap it in place. It's very important you make sure that these are completely in line. You kind of have to push them back in a little bit. Alright, and then just pop it down. Alright, it's very important you make sure they're lined up before you put pressure on it. I've had people bend those trying to do it, and then they bring it to me and their antennas aren't working. Okay, and a lot of times if you can't fix those antennas, then you end up having to basically replace your whole screen, which is, yeah, that's not worth doing. So be very careful with the wireless antennas. Okay, you got that. I switched to the T4 for these small screws. It actually works a bit better. Okay. Alright. Then put back on the metal plate for the LCD screen. Make sure that the LCD screen is connected properly before you plug the battery. You can test it by trying to just pop it up. If it stays in place, then just put some pressure back down and then do that. If your screen connector isn't in properly and then you put power to it, you can fry your whole board, so be very careful with that. Okay, so we'll put back these screws. I always tighten them, or just loosely fit them first so I can get all the screws in and then tighten them up. Okay, now we just reconnect the battery. Alright, we got all the screws in, yep. So grab the battery connector, put this back in. Alright. Make sure that when you put the battery connector in that you have it going in straight, because if you plug it in crooked, you can damage something. Alright, there we go. Just like that. We'll put the cover back on, and then we can test it before we put the base screws back on, the cover screws back on. So open it up. You might have to plug it in the first time. So peel this off. Yeah, I think we have to plug it in the first time. Alright, so usually once you disconnect the battery, you have to plug power into it or it's not going to turn on. Sometimes it's just slow booting up, so if I don't plug it in time and it turns itself on, then yeah. Okay, let's see here. Let's grab the charging cable for this. And we will plug it in. Come on, turn yourself on. is it not turning on? Oh, there we go. It's just slow. Alright, so there you can see the screen is replaced and it's working. Alright, that always gives me a slight heart attack when it takes so long to turn on, but just know to expect that. It's usually the case. As long as you followed all the steps, held that little button to shut it off, then you should be good to go. Alright, so that's all there is to it. Just put back all the screws for the bottom cover and you're good to go. Alright, hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help me. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.